We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube. Oh, God.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
I'm not getting fishy after Monday Night Raw.
Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with another episode of the Wrestling Republic Daily Broadcast. Happy Juneteenth, man. Episode 906. This is going to be one of them ones. Last night, AEW took over the great country of Mexico, and they had an incredible show, and we're here to break it all down. I ain't doing one of these Thursday shows in a while, man. It's been a minute. But I can't do a Thursday show without a familiar face, someone that I was doing Thursday shows week upon week upon week with, my boy Anthony from the great state of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean it's a throwback. And just so you know, Shad, like you told me pre-show, I did a Google search. I'll have to dig deeper into it, but it looks like they are doing Raw and possibly NXT here in August. Like you said, that's a possibility now. But I need to focus on AEW now. So switching gears, let's get into it.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, we'll definitely politic after that because I've been earning to go to a NXT show. I didn't get to go the one that was in DC because my son was planning to be born that weekend, but he came a couple weeks earlier than that. But then I still couldn't go because I have a newborn. So it is what it is. But speaking of DC, we got to talk and kick it off to someone else who's from the greatest region of Northern Virginia. All right, not Richmond, not Virginia Beach, none of that. Roanoke, none of that.
Oh,
yeah. Aunt you, man. How you doing, bro?
what's going on, man? Ain't you from the 540? Like Shadi said, we are here to talk AEW last night. Crazy show in Mexico. And I'm ready to go, man. We flowing today. Lakers in 5.
Yes, sir. And they sold them too, which is crazy to me. The Bush family sold the Lakers to the group with Magic Johnson and stuff. There's a lot of.
Wasn't that 10 billion?
Yeah.
Like that.
Hey, look, after they said the Staples Center can become Crypto Arena, I was like, you know what? Money talks over anything.
Everyone's got a price. Yes.
Everything does have a price. And speaking of money, we got to talk about Mone. Mercedes Mone had not a title defense, but had an opportunity to win the CMLL Women's Championship. She went against one of the more talented women superstars on their roster. I don't know. Zuxis, I believe is how you say it.
Yeah.
Pardon me if I said it wrong. If y'all know how to pronounce it, please comment it. But they had themselves a match, and Mercedes adding to the collection of belts. This is belt number 7 for her. 7 belt Mone. And I'm going to tell y'all this, man. I think I might have a little bit of an opinion than you guys. So I'll just kick it off and get my spiel out the way. I absolutely love it. This is a generational reign we are seeing for Mercedes at the moment. You want to talk about feeling a type of way? You want to talk about going into a situation where you may not be as renowned compared to your counterparts, being told that you're relegated to just do tag team stuff when them tag team belts don't matter. You bet on yourself. And how she is bet on herself is cashing in, man. 7 belts. I got no problem with it. I love the opportunity that these other promotions that are not AEW, these promotions that are smaller, international, have in her name, her namesake, and wanting her to carry that belt, wrestle some of their people on their rosters and all that. I think it makes sense. But she collects another belt, and my favorite part of the show probably last night. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego Storm? Tony Storm with the Carmen Sandiego red jacket had the little promo vignette that she had prior to it. Mina pops out and hits her with a suplex, and you saw Mercedes look like Sonic losing all his coins in the air with all them belts flying, man. It was a great sight to see, and I'm excited for this match going into All In. But I'll ask you guys, as y'all know, I'm a Mercedes stan over here. How did y'all feel about the match? And how do you feel about Mercedes and Tony being belt? I'll start with you, Anthony.
This isn't going to be good. No, honestly, I've gone on record. I've never been a Mercedes fan, to be honest with you. I don't get the hype. I really don't. Of Austin Aries Mone or Hogan Mone, whatever you want to call her, with just throwing belts on her. When I'm looking at it as a whole, I am more interested in Toni Storm, and she has one belt versus Mercedes giving her 7 or 8 or whatever she's got at this point. I really don't. It doesn't give a big deal to me. Like, even though she has 7 belts, I don't care. It's I don't know why. It just doesn't. It's like, oh, okay, yay, she got another belt. It doesn't have the gravitas to it. Like, at the end of the day, the most prestigious title in AEW should be their women's championship, which is held by timeless Toni Storm. To me, that's the bigger deal than the one she's got. She's got all these titles from all these promotions, and like, for the most part, unless you're like niche, most people are like, okay. Like, that's the problem when you have too many titles. It diminishes the importance. Like, I get it, the visual, like Ultimo Dragon when he had all the belts, and Austin Aries did it in the past. Cardona did it. Like, there are things that's like, after a certain point, you're kind of like, all right, there's another one. Like, it doesn't, for me, it does not come off as a big a deal as it probably should. And that might be because I'm a little jaded, because I'm just not a Mercedes fan. I don't get the GOAT status thing, because I think there's a lot of other women that are a lot more talented than she is. To be perfectly honest, and I know people are going to get mad with that, but I just got to be honest, I'm not a fan.
You know what, man? It is okay to be wrong, Anthony. It's okay to be wrong today, bro. I'm messing with you. I think she can be in the GOAT conversation personally. I look at her, I look at, all the horsewomen in respectful manners. I think all of them make a conversation to be in the GOAT status. But to her, I just feel like, even the accomplishment, being able to wrestle last night, in the arena in Mexico, wrestling at the Tokyo Dome prior, right? Wrestling at MSG, like going main eventing Mania, is like, she's checked so many boxes that any wrestler, honestly, male or women, doesn't get to accomplish. And I think that's something that should, celebrated.
I don't question the accomplishment, and I don't question necessarily her quality in the ring, but I've never gravitated towards her in the same way a lot of people do, of going, oh, she's a GOAT. Like, she's one of the best, but I don't necessarily consider her a GOAT. I don't know why. I just don't.
I mean, this is a conversation we could definitely have. I want to get through a couple comments first. I make beats. Thank you, bro. Zeus, that is how you say her name. Talented wrestler. I remember she wrestled Mercedes last year. Funny enough, I remember that match happening on a Dynamite. Mercedes is the GOAT for my beautiful wife, Victoria. Thank you. She's a big Mone fan too, and she's commenting that. Love you. She's probably somewhere in the other room. And then we also said Toni Storms was the Yoda Tsuji of this situation. That's a good comment. And then we got Chris Leclerc saying Bailey is better than Mercedes Moné. Highly disagree.
I didn't even say nothing. I make beats. How you gonna disagree with me? I ain't said nothing yet.
He mixed up the ants. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah,
it's the first time that's happened.
Yo, by the way, okay, we gotta look. This is Anthony. I do call Anthony Ant sometimes, but that's off air.
I'm the original one.
Yeah, but we got.
I'm the improved one.
Okay.
Hey man. But nah, man, I agree with you, Ant. Like, so I'm like, Mercedes Moné, when she was Sasha Banks and she was coming up through NXT and first started going on the main roster. Like, she had that aura, she had that swagger, everything was good about her. Right now, I feel like she has almost like overstepped it. Just like I think she's portraying herself as being better than what she is, which I guess is what her character should be, calling herself the CEO. But she's not there. I mean, she was super relevant because of her matches with Bayley. Her feuds with Charlotte were huge. But as of right now, like, if I had to rate the top 10 women in wrestling, I don't think Mercedes makes the top 5. There's a lot of great talent out there doing a lot of great things. And like, I feel like she's trying to be like Matt Hardy back in the day. I know you guys brought up Austin Aries, but for me, it was always Matt Hardy when he was the Octo champ, right? When he was coming up to MCW right up the road in Maryland and performing up there, and he was MCW champion as well with a bunch of others. So I just don't feel like she's connecting with the people anymore, man. And that's what Sasha was great at. Sasha was connecting with people, making you love her, making you want to be in her corner. But now it's just like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, so I mean, congratulations to her for betting on herself and having all these belts. But what are you gonna do with them? Like, what are we gonna do with them? That's the question.
Man,
See, now you made it easier, because now we both went that direction, so they can hate both of us.
Right? Yeah. You know what I mean?
First and foremost, she's a heel, guys. So I don't think the level of her having to like have people love her, I don't think she wants to. She's like playing like a Floyd Mayweather type of role. Like, she's the ultimate. I'm the ultimate winner. I'm gonna win a bunch of times, and I'm gonna make y'all mad by it. And I think that's part of, like, when Kenny was the belt collector, I don't think people were tripping too much about it, right? So I do think the level of, and I'm not saying you guys, by the way, because I think y'all's reasoning is a little bit different of a conversation than I see online. I don't like the Mercedes Hogan rhetoric at all, personally.
It is about to be storming Norman out here.
You better say, you better. A tornado hit your room.
Listen, I get the comparison of the Hogan Mercedes thing way more than I get the Becky Lynch one. The Becky Lynch one made no sense to me.
I don't see it with either of them, though. I don't think either
of the two. I can kind of see some of that.
I don't look. Hulk Hogan's a piece of shit, and I'm a curse on air for it. Like, F Hulk Hogan, he's a piece of shit. Nobody should be compared to them, especially to women who have a lot better of a moral compass and aren't trying to, F over the game with that. So that's why I don't like her being compared to that. But I do think it's part of the character work. She loses belts. She lost the belt, the New Japan Strong belt, not that long ago to Azumi in that triple threat match. It ain't like she's going to hold all these belts forever. I'm sure she might lose the CMLL belt to La Catalina in their upcoming big show for CMLL too. So, like, it may be a case where, like, the star power sometimes is important, especially if you want it to hold it for a little bit of time and then you give it to someone on their, like, standpoint. And the other thing is this: a lot of people make this criticism towards these companies, but let's be real, these companies are these companies. A lot of the critiques are people that don't watch the shows, not all the time, right? So, like, if it's people that are upset about it because they're like, oh, you're taking away an opportunity for someone in there, okay, that's fine. I understand it. But I do think a lot of the rhetoric is more so like, oh, people just want to throw shade on her because it's Mercedes. Like, she gets that notion because it is Mercedes. And that part of it, I don't think it is fair to it.
I think a lot of it stems from, at least from my perspective, obviously I've never met her, but I've been to a number of different wrestling conventions, and invariably somebody always brings up they've had a bad interaction with her. Almost every time I've ever been the one, they all go, oh, she was horrible. She was nasty to me. Like, literally, these are completely different people. So it's like, it's kind of one of those things where, like, you hear that stuff and it kind of sours your image of the person a little. So that's part of the reason why I'm not so much a fan of hers, but it's just kind of like, she needs to, if she's going to lose them, and I get why these smaller companies are putting the belt on her, bigger star platform. I get it. I don't have an issue with it. But if she's going to lose those titles, is she going to lose them clean, or is she going to lose them in a multi-person and she's not involved? Because does that really help you? If okay, you got the belt off of her, but your talent didn't beat her.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
think it doesn't elevate the belt if she loses it in a multi-women match. Like it
Yeah.
has to be a clean, big time main event.
But the
I
question,
beat Mercedes Mone.
but the question is, will AEW and Tony Khan let that happen? Because then that waters Mercedes down for losing the belt. So like, it's the question, like, what do you do in that situation?
For those ones, we'll have to wait and see. I think you have to kind of play the story of when she loses one belt and then it becomes a little bit of the snowball effect. I think the first belt lost will probably be that TBS title. But hey, we are here to see what happens. And yeah, man, salute to the ladies having a banger match last night too. Let's get to this next topic though, because we did spend a lot of time on that one. Let's talk about oh my gosh, it was already on there. I forgot.
Yes.
Then something happened.
Mhm.
Wow. MJF, man.
Yes.
He is the ultimate heel coming out in that USA garment last night, just playing that dastardly devilish ways, going against a fan favorite, man, Mistico. Mistico with a banger theme song, by the way.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that his entrance last night felt so captivating. Like the song is beautiful. The woman singing it has an absolutely beautiful voice, and everyone singing from the top of their lungs. Like it felt so special for him in that arena. And also, let me say this: last night, man, the arena was so like the vibes and everything was top notch. Like I really would suggest TK to like have a pay-per-view there, because like that energy, like a forbidden door,
That's
like,
what should be there.
yeah, it's gonna deliver and over deliver. Like I don't think you can, out of all the international crowds, maybe next to obviously Wembley, which is not always attainable, like that was one of the most electric international crowds I've seen AEW in.
I mean, probably one of the hottest crowds, and it wasn't AEW, was when WWE did the Puerto Rico show, the Backlash.
Yeah.
That was so passionate. Like that's another hotbed for
Paris
do
was
one of those.
crazy too.
Yes,
for sure. And I make B saying he was over, man. Mr. Cole over. They had themselves a very good match. I liked it. It was simple. They played a lot of the heel versus babyface dynamic to it. MJF DQ finish, man. DQ finish, and takes the mask off of Mystico. I like the match personally. One, because I think you let the hometown hero stay over, be the hero at the end of the day. But MJF, he didn't win the match, but he won over as a heel as we continue everything that goes on with him in the Hurt Syndicate. Anthony, I want to know your thoughts. Obviously, you had a very strong opinion about the match prior to it last week. But I kind of want to know how you thought about the match itself and everything that kind of went over yesterday.
Okay, I'll keep this kind of simple. I'm not a huge fan of Mystico, but I do respect the fact that he is incredibly over in Mexico. A hometown favorite, hero, whatever you want to call him. He is definitely over there. And it was one of the coolest things to watch the audience, sing his song and get behind him. It was very reminiscent of when the crowd sings Cody's song or Edge's song. Like, it's one of those things that it's very endearing if you're not exposed to Mystico as regularly as the people in Mexico are, or you're not really digging deep for that type of stuff. It is very endearing and it's very cool. I've said before, MJF's greatest skill is as a heel. When everyone was saying, oh, they got to make him a babyface, he's over. And then they did it. And I'm going, it was a mistake. And they all went, oh, no, it's not. This heel MJF, this is why I said that, because that's his best stuff. His best stuff is as a heel. He played it up, and it was very reminiscent of Roddy Piper, because there was a story in Roddy Piper's biography, and this story's been told other times, where he was performing in Los Angeles, and it's a very Latino audience. And he was feuding with Chavo Senior, I believe. I believe that was the Guerrero he was feuding with at the time, and he offended them. And then the next week he went out there and he goes, "I want to apologize, and I want to play the Mexican national anthem on my bagpipes as an apology." He proceeded to play La Cucaracha. Needless to say, they were furious and they were ripping up seats. That's the type of heat that MJF lives to generate. I did see a story. I don't know if it's been confirmed. Allegedly, some fan was so angry that he confronted him about it. And, they're very passionate about it. I'm like, it's never okay to do that. It's a show. Like, relax. But I get it. I get it. They're very passionate about it. But MJF did all the tactics that a great heel needs to do. He riled up the crowd. That's what you're supposed to do as a heel. So it worked. It protected Mistico because he didn't really lose. But, they did what they needed to do. MJF got the heat. Mistico got a nice showcase. It was simple, and I'm completely cool with it. I think they did the right thing, especially if Mistico didn't want to lose, or Samuel Mel didn't want him to lose, or whatever the reasoning was, or they were afraid, that if he did lose, MJF might have been in danger. I mean, he was in danger already taking off the mask. Imagine if he would have beat him and took the mask. So probably would not have ended well. So they did the safest bet, and I think it paid off.
No, for sure. And I'm really digging the dynamic of him with the Hurt Syndicate. If this is the direction where it allows them to just be a big heel faction, like, I think that makes, like, I feel like they're kind of needing that type of heel faction. And I agree. I think MJF is a dish best served heel. He does not need to be a babyface. You can. That's the thing.
He's the heel you love. He's the heel you love to hate. He does not. He could still sell merch. He does not have to be a babyface. You do not have to cheer him. You can respect him. That's kind of what the position Roddy
little kids love. Little kids love giving him the middle finger.
Yes,
like that's beautiful.
Yes,
El Gigante Americana last night was great, man.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, man.
He came out and just he made the baby face larger than life for the entire match.
I honestly think that
it's beautiful.
That what he played was the same thing he did when he had the American Championship. I would not have had him lose it to Ospreay. I would have let him continue on with that.
Yeah, if this type of heel character continues and builds steam, he'll definitely be back at the top of the card going for it. But I mean, I thought they played it very well yesterday. Like you mentioned, I think it's one of those cases where it's a win-win. You booked it to damn near perfection that way. I know, like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, the DQ finish." In this way, if you don't overdo it, like, there wasn't a lot of DQ finishes last night. That was the lone one, and that being the direction for it, I thought it made sense. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see what continues to go with it.
Well, when
Karen Sari said, "Bring back the kangaroo kick."
when you have a very passionate and hostile crowd, just a brief history with professional wrestling. Puerto Rico is another one that's notorious with that. Ric Flair would talk about that. He would go down there to defend the NWA Championship. The crowd would not accept him beating their. So he would lose the title, but they wouldn't recognize just to get him out. Like, that's that's a type of crowd that I don't think most people really understand just how dangerous it could be in certain sections of the world when you do stuff like that.
I mean, look, man, talk about the climate of what's going on right now in the United States, right? Like, especially in that part of the world, like, we are villains to them, right?
Yes.
That is, so coming out in American attire with the flag on, like, that is very heelish in this standard point of view. And obviously, I'm glad it's not like the Vince's era where he would hone into stuff like that and it could get extra offensive, right? he
You
didn't
mean
do
Muhammad
that.
Hassan,
Yeah,
for example?
exactly. Post 9/11, have a terrorist like type of stuff. Yeah, or bringing out JBL. Like, gosh, yeah.
But I mean,
Eddie's mother
the
with the heart
cherry on
attack.
top, the cherry on top last night was not only just taking the mask off, putting the mask on,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
flipping off the
Yeah,
entire.
The
was
biggest act of disrespect. Yeah,
I mean,
this was MJF back in his bag for sure.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'm excited to see what we do go with that. But I do have a couple things I want to talk about before we continue the show, and that is a lot of stuff that is going on with the Wrestling Republic team. First and foremost, if you haven't already, man, like, subscribe our second YouTube channel, Wrestling Republic Undercard. This is a channel specifically for exclusive videos, clips, a lot of our other side shows like Soul Separately, NXT Off the Air. We have a lot going on there. Anthony and Clark just had a bunch of new Soul Separately episodes that just dropped. We had a special interview on NXT, not NXT Off the Air, I'm sorry, Sunday Spotlight with Aunt You and Clark interviewing Mona, which is a very dope interview. If y'all haven't watched, highly recommend go ahead and seeing that. Yeah, man, we got a lot of great content coming out. So go ahead and make sure you continue to support them. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and comment and subscribe. Everything on the Allison Analysis YouTube channel. This is Ben's page where he gives you breakdowns from Raw, SmackDown, the whole shebang, and he gives you the 5 key findings from these shows. So go ahead, support that. We're giving y'all content upon content upon content. So the best y'all could do is just come on, subscribe. It ain't that hard. Let's talk about my favorite match last night.
Oh, yeah.
4 million pesos 4-way. My goodness, bro. This is why I was excited for the card, because I love the high flying lucha libre style. Ricochet, Leo Rush, Hologram, and my dude Mascara. These guys teared the roof off last night, man. It was an incredible match. All amazing spots. The whole shebang. Hologram comes out with the win. He gets the victory, and I'm happy. I think he's a guy that is very, very talented. But last night, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Last night made me miss seeing the DMV's own Leo Rush, Big Ant.
Yeah.
Because they forget how good Leo Rush is sometimes. Oh my goodness,
and he didn't even give us Blackheart. He didn't even give us Blackheart last night. He could have went crazy, but he kept it light.
I want to know your thoughts on the whole match, bro.
So that match, the 4 million peso 4-way, it was the match that you knew from start to finish you weren't going to get a chance to breathe. Like there was gasp moment after gasp moment, and from Ricochet high flying and being a heel to like you said, Leo Rush doing everything that he did, and the man that stole the show, right? Hologram's feet didn't touch the mat but 8 times, I think. He was flying all over the ring. If you enjoy high-paced Cirque du Soleil matches, that was one that you should not have missed. Everyone had their spots. You had Hologram and what's his name? Dorado doing all kind. I mean, like their tag moves. Like it almost looked like a tag match for a little bit because they were just feeding off each other, going off the ropes, Irish whipping each other. Like it was fun, man. It's hard to explain. If you missed it, go back, rewatch it. Match of the night, in my opinion. And yeah, Hologram is still undefeated in AEW. It's beautiful to watch, man. I love that guy.
Bro, he is still undefeated in AEW, and he is someone that, like, I feel like that's the type of wrestler that they kind of you caught on the like the low, like one of these guys that like it's kind of like Takeshita, right? Like I didn't know about Takeshita prior to him coming into AEW. Obviously doing a lot of stuff in Tokyo Joshi Pro. Not Tokyo Joshi Pro, I'm sorry. I forgot what promotion. He was in New Japan.
DDT.
DDT. Sorry, Tokyo Joshi Pro is the women's promotion. My bad. DDT. You know, and doing a lot of work over there, and then coming onto the ranks of AEW and really becoming a star. Hologram is very similar to that. Like he's one of these guys that is like one of these young luchadors that is like you mentioned. He's a human highlight reel. He works a incredible fast pace. His high flying ability is off the chains. Very fluid too. Like he's got a very fluid move set. Like he doesn't botch a whole lot. Everything is timed precisely. And this makes me miss. Like I don't want to add any more titles, but like I miss cruiserweight divisions for matches like this because like y'all, like we all from that essence of like when WCW was heavy on that, you know, lucha and cruiserweight division, and we don't have that no more.
No, and it's a shame because the talent's there to support one, no question. That is one of the things in all of wrestling, whether it's AEW or it's WWE, other promotion, it all comes down to scouting. You know, to discover those diamonds in the rough that you hope somebody else doesn't get. Takeshita is one of them. Hologram's becoming one of them. It's one of those things that is really special when you see them elevate their game and evolve. Like watching them from when they debut to where they are is one of the coolest things as a wrestling fan, to see the growth when you have talents like that. So it is very cool to see. And a cruiserweight championship, I'm fully in favor of if somebody wants to go that route, even though I think there are too many titles in wrestling and the shows aren't expanding. So that's the only problem. Like you don't want to go too much with TV content because you get to a certain point where the audience is like, this is 3 hours. We're doing that now with SmackDown in 3 hours.
We got families, we got kids.
You got stuff, and it's too much. It's on every night of the week. Like, you know, that's another thing too. And multiple shows on weekends most of the time, if you look at the indie stuff. So it's kind of one of those things where it's you burn the audience out. So it's very difficult to find that balance.
No, for sure, and I don't disagree with that. It is finding that balance and trying to figure out what happens. But I will wait and see. I do want to get through a couple comments, and then we're going to talk about this main event. I make beats noting that heel Ricochet is great. I think he's definitely found like what works for him, especially character wise. I feel like that character aspect was the one that was always lacking. I think he definitely is like found it in AEW. And it's working for him, so good for him, man. Chris Leclerc is noting that, yes, Hologram is still undefeated in AEW. And as you mentioned, bro, it is pouring outside right now if y'all can't hear it.
This thunder is being mad disrespectful.
So, you know, hopefully we can get through this show and me and Big Ant don't lose our electricity. We also got this. This would be a hell of a match. Hologram versus Axiom. I mean, man, my God.
You might as well throw Nathan Frazier in there, too, and make it a triple threat.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a mask. You kind of need the mask.
So I watched this match yesterday with my wife, who was in the comments earlier. We watched Dynamite last night, and we watched this match specifically. And she was like, "I like this guy. He's like a Power Ranger." Like I was like, "Yeah, his mask is similar to that." But like he definitely showed out, and I want to see. I do want to see what the direction is for him because like he is one of these guys that. He's so different, and his like in-ring work is so top-notch. Like fans are they're glued to their seats because they want to see what he's gonna do. So, but let's talk about this main event because we had a 10-man tag match, and this is Anthony's favorite faction in pro wrestling, man. The Death Riders, Death Riders, and the Bucks going against the Ops. It's the Death Riders, the Young Bucks, and Beast Mortos because Cesaro was out. Not sure what happened, but Beast Mortos. Big thing for him. First match he had in the arena after 15 years. So pretty cool for him versus the Ops, Shibata, Will Hobbs, Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and Will Ospreay. This was a very fun match too. Obviously, you put those names in a match, magic is going to happen. They're going to entertain. It was a very entertaining match, to say the very least. I like a lot of the direction that's going on right now. I think the main thing that we got to talk about this is the end of the match, though. And that is obviously Moxley getting the win over a pinfall with Swerve due to, distraction. Hangman. And I also want to tie back to the beginning of it because we didn't talk about it. Hangman's promo in Spanish.
In Espanol.
That was impressive. That was very impressive by him. That is a very intelligent young guy. But I'm curious to see where we are going with the direction of it because I am of belief that it's time. It's time to end this title reign from Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is someone that I have high praise for his work in AEW. I think he is a Mount Rushmore in AEW history when it's all said and done. I believe that there is a bit of fatigue with him, with the fans, and with creative at the moment. I don't think the direction of anything that's going on with the Death Riders is leading to anything at all. And I don't think this title reign is leading to anything at all. I think there is a easy out for it, and that is Hangman, because Hangman has the ability to be that baby face that can, we've seen him do it before, but I feel like this time could be a little bit better because he's a little bit more seasoned in the game. He's more into his character. It's time for him to save AEW and get that belt off of Moxley. And I hope that's what builds into it with these wins that the Death Riders are getting. With the Ops, I'm not sure what the direction is with them. I'm still curious to see what goes on with Hook. And then I think we're leading on to a potential Ospreay and Swerve versus the Young Bucks match. So that should be interesting. But everything tied with the main event. I'm going to go to you first, Big Ant. What are your thoughts, man? Like, match itself, and then also this direction that we get at the end with Mox and Hanger.
So I think the match itself was really, really good. All the components that were inside of it, anytime you have Samoa Joe and Jon Moxley in a ring together, it's going to be really good. You add Swerve Strickland. His work is amazing. I felt like, but I'm going to give the match a C+ though. Because I felt like everything was slowed down in it. I felt like nobody was able to like really get their stuff off. It was a slow-paced match for the people that were in it. And just the finish, I mean, cool. It is what it is. Moxley doesn't lose a lot. So no matter what kind of match he's in, you're pretty much going to see him get the pinfall over someone. I've not been watching AEW for super long. I've been watching it the past couple months, kind of like religiously though, just to make sure I'm up on things and broaden my horizon. And when the belt is taken off Moxley, I hope they don't do like Cody versus Roman. I see it happening that way with the Death Riders and the Ops and everybody coming out and helping Hangman, finish his story. So I hope they go a different way than that, but I see it happening that way. Other than that, I don't know, man. Like I'm done with Moxley being the champion, but I'm not done with Moxley's character. I love the work he's doing, right? But it's definitely time to get the belt off of him, like you said, Shad.
Yeah, man. You know what? That's the most fair statement because I like the idea of the Death Riders is so good, and Moxley, I like his promo work a lot. I like all these very like dark, like kind of like wordy, different type of
Ultimate
promos.
Warrior promos that he's cutting.
It makes you think. And I just feel like the direction of it has been led to nothing, and that's the unfortunate of it. But I don't think you need to I'm not saying he needs to leave AEW, right? I feel like there is a place for Moxley and AEW at the end of the day. I just feel like this story right now is going to do more harm for him than it's going to do benefit. And like the beauty of AEW's roster is they have so much talent on the men's side where like you can put the title on a lot of people. A lot of people who were in that match last night. Ospreay, Swerve, even someone like Samoa Joe again. Like they have a lot of guys who are talented, Will Hobbs. So it is going to be a thing of interest to see how we continue with it. But before we go, I definitely want to get your take on it, Anthony, because obviously, like I mentioned, you are a big Death Riders fan.
Yeah,
right? You
totally.
got the
On
Death
opposite
Riders
day, yes. Yeah, totally.
plain T-shirt. How do you think about the match?
No, I do want to say one positive. I've always been a big fan of Beast Mortis when he was El Tarouse or whatever. I'm amazed that he's able to pull off what he can with that mask on. I don't know how he doesn't pass out because that's got to be sweaty as anything. What I want to focus on, not so much the match, but the overall, the Death Rider thing. I've said it before. The expiration date on this thing expired several months ago. It's a takeover without a direction. There is no real takeover. It's the first takeover was the Bucks. Okay, you took out Tony Khan, fine. You started out, that's hot. Then they kind of crept the bed with that. And then they're like, well, we're going to try it a second time. You just had the first one. No, we're going to try it again.
Right.
But there's no clear direction. There never has been. There's no clear direction whatsoever what they're taking over, who they're taking over. They openly say Tony Khan's booking the show. So they're not taking it over from him. They took his belt and put it in a briefcase, which I don't believe is in the briefcase because the briefcase is too small. But Tony Khan apparently doesn't care. Like, this is a story that, I know somebody's in the comments said, oh, it's the bloodline. It's not the bloodline. The bloodline, people cared. Nobody cares about this. At this point, it's past that point. And I agree with Aunt You. It's probably going to be their version of an endgame type scenario where they're like, oh, all the people that got burned and Darby's going to come back and everybody's going to come back to help the Cowboy win his title. At this point for Moxley has been an MVP for AEW as a whole. He's been the break glass in case of emergency. Oh, we have drama with Punk. Put the belt on him. Like, he's been their go-to to put the belt on. But this storyline has not done him any favors. It has not done AEW any favors. When he loses this, I think he needs to be off TV for a while. Now, if he ends up leaving AEW, which I'm not saying he will, I got to be perfectly honest, for his career and for everything, nothing would pop the audience more than if he inject himself into a Roman Seth feud. And it's the Shield against each other. I got to be honest with you, that sells tickets. That's compelling. That's interesting. I don't think there's nothing left for him to achieve in AEW. He's done everything at this point. So either you take time off of TV for a long while to get the audience to miss you, like Jericho's kind of doing now, or I don't know what you do. I don't really feel the Death Riders really has helped anybody in the group as a whole. Has anybody really benefited? Truly, maybe Marina, but like, what are you going to do with her after? You're not having her go for any of the women's titles. Like, what are you going to do?
I think Marina character-wise definitely developed, but like to your point, I feel like they haven't capitalized on that character. It's kind of weird. It feels like I don't know what it is in particular. I don't know if it's they don't have the trust in Marina, bell for bell. By the way, I have to show this comment because you said something that is hilarious, and someone just has to question you. Someone's missing Chris Jericho.
Oh no, I am not.
Who's missing Jericho?
Listen, I perfectly said I am not missing Jericho, but I did say before that Jericho needs to be off TV to get people to miss him. That was crucial to everything. That Jericho needed to be off TV.
That take made me mess up my camera.
I can clearly tell that. But I don't miss Jericho. But I mean, the point being is you need to be off TV in order for, if you want to build hype for a return, you got to be off TV. He cannot lose it and then just either continue with Death Riders or just go, all right, that's done. I'm doing something else now. You can't do that because this has been going on too long. So there needs to be some type of break for this to kind of work. Roman was off TV after the end game at WrestleMania 40. That's kind of what you need to do with this. You kind of he needs to be off TV. He can't be challenging Hangman or whoever takes the belt off him. He can't be challenging him at the next show. But what happens to the rest of the Death Riders is the question, because they're really nowhere, and you're going to have them kick him out and then try to do their own thing.
The thing is this though, with a group like that, and going over time for about a couple minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You had technical difficulties.
When you create a group, like, you need to have components of people that need to be elevated. With that team,
right,
Pac never needed to be elevated. Pac is Pac. Claudio is another guy. He never needed to be elevated. Like, you brought these guys in to AEW for the reason they were set to be like who they are still to this day. But like a person like Wheeler Yuta, I feel like that kind of helped him a little bit. But still to this day, I don't know if we have a lot of like, I don't know if people take him as that serious. I think
no, they don't.
They don't. Especially as a heel, I feel like the route for him would have been to become babyface in the process, like as the next Danielson. Like he's doing the running knee like Danielson and all that. But there's
only one person that needs to take the belt off of Moxley, and it's not Hangman, it's not Swerve, it's not Ospreay. It's got to be our man Hook. Hook's got to take the belt off of him. That story
really over Darby. I thought you were going to go Darby.
No, Darby Allin is less talented.
We're going over time because I want to hear your point real quick. I'm giving you the floor real quick.
Yeah, like I said, man, I just think with the Taz connection and the push in the fanfare that Hook had when he was going after when he was wrestling Samoa Joe for the title, right? Like, the fans were behind it. The fans loved him. If you gave him the proper push, he could be the savior. He doesn't look like your average, superstar. He doesn't talk like them. He's not huge. I feel like that would be someone to take the belt off Moxley, to put where's Orange Cassidy, man. But nah, yeah, I just say I like how Hook could. Darby Allin, as I said a second ago, Darby Allin is a less talented Spike Dudley. He's just out there trying to just hurt himself. I've never been a fan of his. I don't understand his character, so that's not what I say. But I think Hook would be good.
Listen, Darby Allin's the reason the Grim Reaper has a drinking problem. Because, I mean, when you think about it, who, gets injured, then breaks his nose, then gets hit by a bus in a matter of, a couple weeks. Like, it's just,
And then climbs a mountain.
Yes, but that's one of those things that I think the problem with the Death Riders as a whole is that there was never any clear direction. Like, with the Bloodline, we all pretty much knew, at least for a good year, Cody was the guy. It was a matter of, biding time to get to 40. Everyone knew that was the direction. With the Death Riders, none of us really know what the direction is, which would normally be a good thing. But when this is a bad story that no one cares about, it's not a good thing.
For sure, man. I want to get through a couple comments because y'all been amazing today, man. The viewership for today's show has been off the charts. So I'm happy that y'all have enjoyed the show. A lot of new faces in the comments too that I have not seen before. Salute to the homie podcast Grifter Podcast. He said they just made a Temu version of the Bloodline. He's also saying that Moxley has had one of the worst heel turns in history. He didn't really need to go back then when he was the most popular guy in AEW at the time. Feels like he's kind of been like the you got to break the glass to kind of try to fix stuff up in a situation. We got Kobe in here also. He said Hangman is the guy, so that's who he's going with. Another new face that I've seen in the comments today. Salute to you, Garrett. Sorry, Hook isn't even eating chips anymore, which is also funny. And also we got someone RRC saying, "What up, folks? New here, lifelong wrestling fan. What's going on, bro? You are coming right at the end of the show, but play back the episode. Listen to what we were talking about. We're back Same time tomorrow, 8 o'clock UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, the Wrestling Republic daily broadcast. We will be talking the weekend in pro wrestling coming up. Thank you, Ant. Thank you, and Ant. That's why they call me Unc, right? I got and we definitely here with a great episode, and we'll be back tomorrow, man. So in the words of Big Ant's favorite wrestler, Jay Uso, deuces, we out.